So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Amy Chong, and welcome to our South Sunset Senior Center. So today, I know that there's another event happening at 11:30, so we're going to be competing time with that. But I want to really thank you and tell you why we're gathering here today. So for the past 3 months, Self-Help for the Elderly has pivoted our congregate meals over to the home-delivered meals. And the peak of our delivery reaches about 5,000 meals every day. That's a lot of meals. And we calculated that we must have delivered almost like or over 300,000 meals in the last 3 months, which is amazing. And seriously, we couldn't have done it without all of you and each one of you present today. So today we're honoring all of our volunteer drivers and packers and volunteers, and we're also honoring the people who made it possible for us. Because we needed the Board of Supervisors' help, we needed the Department of Aging's help, and we needed our caterer and the production of all of our meals, and also all of you. So that's why we gathered today. Thank you for the accommodation. I know that we cannot spread you further apart, but we're all healthy and able, to do the volunteer work that we have been doing for the past 3 months. So today, I'm also really honored to bring together Mastercard and Lyft, who were the major sponsors of our home-delivered meals. And without them, we wouldn't be able to get the 37 drivers that have been driving the meals along with all the other volunteers. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce President Norman Yee, and Norman is going to help me introduce the other supervisors who are here today with us via Zoom, and some are present here. We have been delivering meals to almost every part of San Francisco. We have 3 packing stations at Chinatown, District 3, Supervisor Peskin's district. We are in Richmond District, Supervisor Fewer's district, and we're in Sunset, which is Supervisor Norman Yee and Gordon Mar's district. So together, all of our drivers have fanned out every morning, 5 days a week, to bring these 300,000 meals to our homebound seniors. It is a very, it really is truly a labor of love. So thank you very much. So today, I'm honored to have President Norman Yee to come up to help us make some opening remarks. Please welcome Supervisor.
Thank you, Amy. I want to say that I finished high school about the same time that Self-Help for the Elderly was at the beginning stages of its operation in Chinatown, and it's been great to see its growth as an organization that primarily was serving people in Chinatown to what it is today, where it's serving unduplicate numbers of 40,000 people. And this is before the coronavirus itself. So every year, Self-Help for the Elderly serves Bay Area-wide 40,000 people. Can you imagine that? And then what did they do during the virus, during this pandemic? Did they shrink and say, oh my God, we can't do anything with these 40,000 people? Instead, they expanded. They've served, as Annie was saying, up to 5,000 people a day. Can you imagine that? When you calculate the numbers that we're talking about. So, I want to give a lot of credit to Self-Help for the Elderly, their organization. But as Annie was saying, it's not just about her organization, it's about the people, the volunteers, and the companies that really have stepped up. I'm really proud of the organization, proud of the volunteers, and I want to give a big shout out to 2 organizations that have actually made the deliveries of these meals much more possible than if they had not stepped up. And they are here representing Lyft is Tracy from Lyft, who basically have gotten about 60 or 70 drivers daily to deliver these meals. We also have, but before Self-Help was able to connect up to Lyft, actually it was Mastercard that said, hey, we know how to get this done. Let us help you. let us connect you to Lyft. And so Tim from Mastercard is here today also. And I really want to thank please thank the two companies for stepping up like this, because without you two, the two companies, Lyft and Mastercard in this case, I doubt if self-help would be able to serve half the people that they're serving today. So thank you very much. So once again, there's several people here, my colleagues are here today. I'm going to invite Supervisor Mar up in a second. But I also want to let you know that, as you see on the screen, we have Supervisor Peskin, and we have Supervisor Fewer, and I also saw Supervisor Safai on there. And after Supervisor Mar will say a few words, we'll invite the other three to say a few words also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. I'm joining President Yi, my colleagues, and other city leaders at this really important event to recognize and thank so many community heroes who help support self-help for the elderly in their tremendously important home-delivered meal program during COVID-19. As a District Court Supervisor, I really wanted to acknowledge self-help, Annie Chung, and all the self-help staff and community for providing such important services, critical services, essential services to our seniors and our most vulnerable community members here in the Sunset District, in our city, and throughout the Bay Area. Right here at the South Sunset Playground in this clubhouse, before COVID-19, the meal program here and the activity programs that self-help was providing was so critical in supporting seniors here in the Sunset District. And now, since COVID-19, it's been really inspiring to see how they've been able to pivot and respond to the new needs and new challenges of our times by providing home-delivered meals to thousands of seniors and vulnerable residents in the Sunset and throughout our city. So thank you so much to Self-Help for the Elderly for this. But more importantly, thank you to all the businesses and the organizations and volunteers that have stepped up to support this effort here. I wanted to really lift up one particular group, and that's the Sunset Neighborhood Health Group that has been providing volunteers for the home delivery meal program at Self-Help for the Elderly in the Sunset. The Sunset Neighborhood Health Group is an amazing example of our neighborhood and our city stepping up and coming together and stepping up to help support others and meet the crisis and challenges as a community. It was formed at the very beginning of the COVID-19 crisis when a handful of residents here in the Sunset decided that they wanted to get organized and provide support to seniors and other vulnerable community members in the Sunset in their shopping and other errands. And it's grown into an amazing example of self-help here in our neighborhood, in our city, with over 1,600 volunteers now in the Sunset Neighborhood Health Group that are providing direct support to the most vulnerable residents in our neighborhood. They've been supporting the food pantries in our neighborhood, and importantly, they've also been providing volunteers for Self-Help for the Elderly's home delivered meal program. So thanks especially I'm so proud of the Sunset Neighborhood Health Group, and thanks to everyone who stepped up, all the volunteers, community heroes here. Thank you.
I also, as I was walking in, I realized that there are community ambassadors here today, and there's a whole bunch of them that they're city workers that have stepped up and also have contributed to the delivery. So thank you to the community ambassadors that are here. Thank you. Okay. Oops. So right now I see that Supervisor Fewer is on the screen. Supervisor Fewer, who's next to this neighborhood, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, President Yi. Yes, I would. I first want to say that I just love that I have Jackie Chan Center in my neighborhood. So many of my residents depend on the services pre-COVID that they provided to all of our vulnerable communities, but really my monolingual Chinese-speaking seniors that actually depended on that center every day. And during COVID-19, the demand has risen, and I want to just thank Annie for having the leadership actually to pivot on such a quick notice. And the demand came hard and it came swift. And when she said to us, you know, there are 500 people on my wait list for meals, I mean, it was a just huge undertaking to actually coordinate all the meals, the meal deliveries. And so I want to thank her staff. But then I also really, I think this time is to really thank the volunteers, the people who have stepped up, the people who have said that, look, this is something I can do. I want to thank my 2 staff members in particular, Ian and Chelsea, who have been delivering meals, and also my other staff members, Angelina and Jackie, who have been coordinating with all the CBOs in my district to see what they need, the masks, the gloves, all those type of things. I have to say, it is wonderful when our private companies such as Mastercard and Lyft pitch in too. This is definitely a community effort to feed all these seniors. And you know, when my staff said to me, you know, when I deliver meals, they're waiting for you there. The recipients are waiting for the meals, and they're so happy to receive them. This lifeline from self-help. Thank you so much, everyone. I think that, you know, as has been said before, that we could not have done this without you. And I'm so proud and honored to take this moment to thank every single one of you for pulling together, for doing what you can. And in the spirit of San Francisco and the spirit of the city of St. Francis, this is the generosity that we display all the time, but especially during emergencies, that we are generous of ourselves. But thank you so much to everyone in particular. Thank you, Annie.
So I want to now introduce Supervisor Peskin that represents the Chinatown area. And right after Supervisor Peskin, then Supervisor Sandra Lee will also say a few words. It's all yours.
Thank you, President Yi. I think Supervisor Fewer said it just right, but from the bottom of my heart, to Annie's staff, to all of the volunteers, to Mastercard and to Lyft, this was a phenomenal troop movement that nobody could imagine that this amount of human resource, this amount of food resource could be mobilized this quickly as demand ramped up. In the early days of the pandemic, we knew this was all about food. We did not know that self-help was going to be able to mobilize so quickly, so broadly, all over the city and county of San Francisco. I am personally touched. I'm delighted. It brought me to tears early on in the pandemic, and I want to thank my staff, particularly Calvin Yan and Sunny Angulo, who worked to optimize routes to make them more efficient. And thank you, one and all, for this just extraordinary outpouring of love for everybody in our community who needs it. Thank you, Annie. Supervisor,
Go ahead, Supervisor
Safai, the floor is yours.
Okay, I mean, I'll be real brief. Just want to say always thank you to Annie Chung and Self-Help for the massive mobilization that they've done. Thank you to the staffers at City Hall, Ian and Jackie and Sunny and Calvin and all the work that's being done by Supervisor Fewer and Yi and Peskin and Mars and all your offices. We have a little bit less of a footprint with self-help for the elderly, but we've done work with them out in the Excelsior Out Mission, and I know a lot of the families that are in our part of town rely on food and all the work. And thank you to Mastercard and Lyft, and pretty much everything has been said by my colleagues, and I just wanted to say thank you, and we're so excited to support.
Are you still in North Beach, Asha?
I am. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you to all of our supervisors. Let's give all of our supervisors. So now I want to introduce Shireen Peskin, who's the director of our Department of Disability and Aging Services. They are the one that provide the funding for most of our senior and elder care services.
Hi everyone, thank you Annie so much. I want to thank you and your team for the amazing work that you've done. I think you know, but not everybody in this room knows that seniors are over 20% of our population, and seniors are really the heroes in all of this because they did shelter in place before everyone else did, and they're going to continue doing that to help keep San Franciscans safe. One of the things that, I think some of the supervisors have mentioned is the biggest thing we've seen in this is the incredible need that people have for food. And Annie and her team have really stood up and answered that challenge, as have many of the supervisors and their staff, as have many city employees and other CBOs. It's just been an incredible, incredible response. Annie called me early on and said, I have like quadrupled the number of meals that I'm getting out the door. I'm personally driving, my staff are driving, and it's just, it's taken everyone at self-help. It's been an incredible effort, and what we also know about this is it's not going to go away. We're going to need to continue pulling together as a city, and we're going to need partners like self-help to continue the incredible work that they're doing. So Annie, on behalf of the Department of Disability and Aging Services, I just want to thank you and everyone at Self-Help for the incredible, incredible work that you've done.
Thank you so much, Shireen, for the support. People were asking me, how are you going to deliver all these meals? I say, by leap of faith. We know somewhere, because the needs of our seniors are so great, that Shireen will be there, Norman will be there, Gordon and Sandra and Aaron. I call them all the time. Can I have the city cars? Can I have the city workers? Can I have some masks and gloves and aprons and PPP? And Sunny, you and Calvin, you drove for us, you arranged the city vans for us. It's just really a community effort. So thank you so much, everyone. So now I want to ask Tim Montgomery from Mastercard. And I want to give a little background. So Danielle Lam, who's now with Mastercard, is the daughter of Jeannie Lee, who is Jeannie right in the middle. Jeannie is a supporter, fundraiser, donor, volunteer. Whatever self-help needs, Jeannie is there for us. So we're going to later thank Jeannie and Barry and all her friends. But I want to mention Danielle moved over to New York, and then she heard about the efforts through her mom, because Jeannie was bringing all her friends to help deliver meals for us. And at that point, Danielle stepped in and said, Annie, let me see what I can do. And those are the magic words. So Jeannie got in touch with Tracy and Colin, who's on the Zoom, and then Malcolm, who's here, from Lyft, and working with Alex and our nutrition team. Almost in a few weeks, they were ready, and they were so flexible. Amazing, a big company, but they were so flexible to meet the needs of our seniors. And that's why we could do the delivery that we can. So now I want to thank Mastercard and bring Tim up to say a few words, and then ask the supervisor to help you present some gifts to now.
Great. Thank you so much, Annie. It's a pleasure to be here representing Mastercard. And thank you all. A special thank you should go out to the Lyft team. I think really early days when COVID-19 hit, it was really inspiring to see how quickly partners like Lyft could react. And so we engaged early on to help better understand, hey, how can we be delivering value through our partnerships to our local communities and to partners like Annie at Self-Help. And so we partnered with Lyft on their Lyft Up initiative, and were able to tap into their network of 120,000 drivers around the U.S., many of which based here in San Francisco and in the Bay Area. And through these efforts, have been able to give 2,500 rides, deliver just some really impressive stats, 40,000 essential deliveries, and 430,000 meals, many of which have been delivered in partnership with all of the volunteers and Annie and the self-help team here. So thank you all for that, and a special thanks to the Lyft team. It's been truly inspiring to be a part of that, as well as to everyone else who go make it happen. You know, these efforts build on Mastercard's really focus on how do we engage our local communities, and how do we really focus our technology and our partnerships to drive value, to do things like get disbursements out, get essentials out, deliveries to people who are truly, truly in need. It's been a core focus of ours to be able to be nimble and react with partners like Lyft, as well as kind of our local government and community organizations. So again, I want to thank you all, and on behalf of Mastercard, a special thank you goes out to all of the local community volunteers, because without you all, we would never be able to make this happen. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. And thank you to Danielle, I think she's following us on the Zoom. So thank you, Danielle, if you're there. So Supervisor Lee, can you help us present? This year is Year of the Red. Oh, by the way, happy Dragon Boat, everyone. Today is Dragon Boat Festival. But for the Year of the Red, we'd like to present you a little figurine, Mastercard, to you and all your team.
Should I show them?
Yeah, show them.
There it is. And here, made by the seniors.
Yes, the money lay, I think it's just $1. But, so,
Don't spend it all in one place.
and we thought of, as I said, if I had known that today is Dragon Boat, I would have got you all the tamales, right? The zhong, which is a festival food. But instead, we give you a beautiful mask and you can wear year-round.
Thank you. Thank you, Annie.
So next, I'm going to invite Ms. Tracy Lee, representing Lyft, to say a few words. Tracy.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Annie, for the introduction. My name is Tracy Lee. I'm a senior public policy manager at Lyft and a proud San Francisco native who went to school here in the Summer District. A very special thank you today to Annie Chung and Alex Tan at Self-Help for the Elderly for their continued partnership and collaboration in order to make this program possible. I'd also like to thank our partners at Mastercard, Tim and Danielle, and President Yi, Supervisor Mar, Supervisor Peskin, Supervisor Safai, and Supervisor Fewer, and everyone else who is joining us here today. Lyft's overall mission is to improve people's lives with the best transportation. And through our Lyft Up initiative, in partnership with Mastercard, as Tim mentioned, we are able to reach and impact communities that are in need of essential services during this time and when it matters most. Thanks to this partnership with Self-Help for the Elderly, Lyft has facilitated the delivery of nearly 50,000 healthy meals to homebound seniors in San Francisco since mid-April. We're proud to work with partners like Mastercard and in San Francisco and in other cities across the country to help the elderly, those with chronic diseases, and other vulnerable populations who might not be able to have quick access to essential needs. And we are especially proud of our community of almost 40 Lyft drivers, a few of whom are here today, who stepped up to support others during this challenging time. So thank you everyone for your support. Thank you Self-Help for your partnership. Thank you Mastercard. Thank you supervisors, and thank you to everyone in the community who has shown support and really helped push and back this program. Now I'd like to introduce one of our Lyft drivers, Cora Mandapat, and she's been instrumental in helping to facilitate these meal deliveries and get these meals to seniors over the past several weeks. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Cora Mandapat, and I am a Lyft driver for about 6 years now, and I love it, and I am so proud that I am part of this program. With the COVID thing that this happened, or still happening, the industry pretty much slowed down. And I was so excited when Malcolm called me up one day and said, hey, would you like to join this program? And when he mentioned families, and he said senior, that hit the spot. I said, I'm in for it because I have a soft spot for seniors. And I'm loving every second of it, and I'm trying to get more drivers to join me. Actually, I have one person to join me. And I'm very, very excited about the whole program, and I'm excited that this will still continue. And I'm going to be here all the way for it. And it's an incredible feeling when I deliver the food to the seniors and their face lights up. I mean, some of them don't get visitors for a while or days. And when I come there and I can't speak the language, but I learned 3 different sentences, and it works. I just knock on the door and their face lights up and they're smiling and happy, and that's all I need to do. And I just say thank you and go on to the next one. So I do this every day, and I'm very excited and proud to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. So Tracy, can you come up maybe with Malcolm to receive our statue for the, and maybe, Sheree, can you maybe present the money made to them as well? To Cora, everyone from Lyft.
Actually, before we do that, I want to say my staff we're so happy when Lyft came on board with this, because my staff was actually scrambling to get the Friends to deliver meals right during the first week of the pandemic. Emergency, so I want to thank my staff, Erica and Jen and Caitlin, who were there from the beginning. All right. You're going to have to tell my daughter that I gave you something.
So the next group that we want to honor and introduce to you is Daisy Lee. So Daisy is the president of the Moon Star and Moon Chef. They are our caterer. So from in the beginning, I was explaining to Aaron in the beginning, Supervisor Peskin, that Self-Help was delivering about 400 meals a day at that time, before the COVID. And then suddenly, every day we received hundreds and hundreds of calls with panic requests from the seniors. And then Daisy, bless her heart, she immediately think of ways that no way that we could deliver thousands of meals every day. So we have to spread it out, do some frozen meals, but make it nice, nutritious, and yummy frozen meals. And that's what she did. She went back to her kitchen, worked hard every day, and then between Alex and Daisy, they really could do everything. So Daisy, thank you so much for always having your heart for our seniors. We couldn't have done it without you, Daisy.
Thank you, and I think it's overwhelming because it's like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. I didn't do anything extra, and I got paid because I'm here. I'm not a volunteer, but it's a very challenge, and it's fun to be in this project because every day is news. You got new things every day, and then you got increase every day, and then you have to think of how can I produce this, how can I storage this, how can I make it delicious, how can I make it good. So everything's new, but I'm glad that I can be part of it. I really enjoy what I do, and thank you for the opportunity. I really thankful, and I can keep my staff working, and that is very important to me. Because I have Moon Chef is the caterer for Self-Help for the elderly. Because of this meal, I also can support Moonstar staff to back to work. So I get more than 65% of the staff working throughout the whole time. And so I'm happy, and everybody is thankful. And thank you for everyone. Thank you for all the volunteer, your time, your effort. I think it's hard. I think the commitment is even harder, and then go through the rounds and every day, and Alex and the whole entire team of Self-Help is very excellent. we work together really well. And thank you, and thank you.
So for those of you that wondered what the Chinese words on the banner say, it says 福澤其應. That means that you brought good fortune and happiness to the seniors. So that's what the red banner says. Thank you. So next, I'd like to introduce and bring up the Director of the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs, Ms. Adrian Pond, and also recognize Richard Whipple, Deputy Director. And at this time, I'd like all the ambassadors to really come in and let us recognize you as a group. So ambassadors, they are really our family. So in Chinatown, half of them walk the streets and come through all of the self-help group sites to check the safety and security. And then when the COVID happened, immediately Adrian and Richard allowed them or asked them to please come help self-help for the elderly. They have been our partners ever since. They come early, help us pack the meals, and then they drive the meals out to our seniors. And on top of it, like that, they come back and help with making sure everything is okay. So really, ambassadors, I don't know what we do without you, and you are always self-help family. So thank you so much. So Ms. Pond, please take it first.
Thank you, Annie, and thank you to Self-Help and all the volunteers and donors who made sure our vulnerable seniors were able to eat and stay safe and healthy during COVID-19. I'm joined by my wonderful staff at OSEA, and if you could get in the screenshot here so you can see our ambassadors. The Community Ambassadors Safety Program is celebrating its 10 years of service to the people of San Francisco, and that is thank you to the vision and leadership of the Board of Supervisors. I just want to say that you'll see some of our ambassadors are wearing their 2020 census masks, safety masks, and we have them for everybody in this room and for all our supervisors. Please don't forget to do the 2020 census because we need that revenue to support our essential emergency services, hospitals, schools, meal programs for seniors, programs for kids and families. Thank you to Annie, Self-Help for the Elderly, the Board of Soups, and the many volunteers, and most of all, thank you to our seniors who inspire us, our parents, our grandparents. Thank you very much.
So President Lee, can you come? Richard, you want to come? And Norman, can you come present? I think we have a lot. Richard. So after OCM, and all the ambassadors. Next, we're going to bring up Celia Wu, who's one of the founders of the Sunset Neighborhood Health Group that Supervisor Mar mentioned. Supervisor Mar. Celia.
Started listening. Who's the ambassador? Raise your hand. Did you go? Go.
And as a grassroots group of people made of neighbors from all over the Sunset, and it formed within 2 weeks, and it took about a month. And we have 1,600 members now after 1 month. And we've been, people have been just helping all the neighbors, seniors, and maybe the immunocompromised group of people, and we help them deliver groceries, and also maybe pharmacy pickup, and sometimes we also help them with other whatever needs that maybe we also do pantries. We help with the First United Presbyterian Church on Slope, and we do the pantries every Saturday. And I'm really honored to be here, and I'm
perfect to be up here, by the way. So this is sort of like a last minute thing that I can think of, and we really appreciate all the help from the whole entire community, all the support. Thank you all.
Next, we're going to invite the co-founder of Together SF, who together sent us many drivers. So I'd like to bring up Ruben, Gandhi, and Alicia.
Hey, my name is Griffin, and alongside Kanishka, we started Together SF, which is a group of neighbors helping neighbors. Earlier, Annie mentioned that this whole program is operating under a leap of faith. That is exactly what we took at the beginning of Shelter in Place. We had a simple idea that maybe we could connect neighbors to other neighbors and nonprofits who needed their help during Shelter in Place. Personally, I didn't know anyone at Self-Help for the Elderly before Shelter in Place started, so I appreciate and thank all of them for taking the leap of faith on us. When we first reached out in March, we had about a dozen volunteers and had no idea what we were doing. And fast forward to today, we've provided over 100 volunteer drivers to fill shifts for self-help for the elderly over the past 3 months. Today, we are a group of about 3,000 San Francisco residents all across the city. So even though this meal program will change and evolve, we look forward to continuing to support your work and amplify all that you do throughout the San Francisco community. So thank you so much for having us.
On top of the hundreds of volunteers that they sent, one day called me and said, Andy, we have 500 pieces of top quality steaks. Would you like them? I said, yes, send them to Daisy Lee, please. Thank you, and thank you. All right, next we're gonna bring up one of my good friends, Dr. Ken Liu. I served on the St. Mary's Hospital board when Ken was the chief of medical staff, and I went on a radio program one day right after COVID and said I need drivers, and the first call I got was from Dr. Ken Mills. Dr. Mills, thank you so much, and also you found us also at Help and Don. Would you please come say it?
Good morning. My name is Ken Mills. I'm an internal medicine physician in San Francisco over by St. Mary's Hospital. I've known Annie for years, and she's always been sort of one of the stars in the community in terms of always giving of herself and her connections. And just as years go by, she's always on my mind. And there I was driving around town listening to NPR, and there she is. So I thought, well, just give a phone call, and she recognized my voice right away, which was very flattering. So I still practice, but I had some time, and so I called some friends, and my friend Don Nelson had some time also. And so 2 days a week, we drive around San Francisco, and over my career, I thought I knew San Francisco really well. We've made house calls from our practice, but boy, we have been to so many neighborhoods. It's really interesting, and of course, I recognize houses and patients and whatever. But again, as one of the other speakers mentioned, that the sort of the beauty of the lighting of the faces when we give those meals to people is just amazing. It's truly amazing. So again, thank you for the opportunity to give back, and this is an amazing program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. President Lee, can you and Shereen help honor Don? Don, can you come up too, Mr. Nelson? Thank you so much. It's not easy to drive these fields. You would think that, okay, Sunset is flat, Richmond is okay, but sometimes we take them to, their route take them to very convoluted routes, and sometimes to apartments, which to me is like a nightmare, because you can't get in, you have to ring the bell 10 times, and then wait for someone to open the door and then go up with 100 of units looking for help. So thank you, Ken, and thank you, Don. I know the first week was tough, but later it got easier, right, Ken?
Yes.
And I have to say, the senior smiles is what make the last 3 months like nothing. You know, the seniors are so appreciative that they got the meals and the contact from us. Thank you. Thank you. So next, we want to honor Jeannie and her friends. So Jeannie, you're on. And Barry is here to represent your group. So between Jeannie and Barry, you want to make some remarks?
Well, hi, Annie. Thank you, everyone that's been participating. Thanks, Barry, for being there. I tell you, Facebook helps. I just posted on Facebook, and next thing you know, we had dozens and dozens of people volunteer. Some of them are there now. And I couldn't be more prouder. And it's just like what someone said earlier about the faces of the senior when you're ringing the doorbell, waiting for them to come to the door. They are just thrilled to see us. So Barry, you want to go ahead and continue how fun it's been for all of us?
It's been actually very fun and rewarding. You know, like many people, I retired last year, and the first thought is to travel. And as I canceled all my travel plans when COVID hit, Jeannie put the call out for help. And if any of you know Jeannie, she doesn't take no for an answer. So even if it's over Facebook, if I didn't answer, I figured there's no snooze button on her. She's going to call me anyway. So I volunteered 2 days a week, and 2 days with the persuasion of Maggie Lou, the coordinator here, quickly turned into every day. So I'm here every day delivering meals, anywhere from 20 to 30 a day. And I get to travel and see the city in ways that I really haven't seen it. And it's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. The seniors are actually waiting for you. And I hope that's not because they're hungry. But they're very grateful, and it's fun to kind of chit-chat with them, even though I don't speak Chinese. So anyway, thanks, Jeannie, for getting me involved. And thank you to Self-Help.
Thank you.
Jeannie, since you're in Napa, we're going to give you the gifts when we see you. But thank you so much to all your friends.
Okay, thank you, Annie.
Thank you so much. So I see Kelvin is here, and Kelvin represents Supervisor Peskin. And Kelvin, please come up, and Shereen can help us present our little banner. And then I have you bring back 2 more sets, one for Aaron and one for also Sunny, please. So Kelvin was very concerned about all these meals that need to be delivered and whether we have enough drivers. So he rallied and asked a lot of his friends from the school, his college friends, his friends, and then asked them to come and volunteer. So thank you so much. Norman, I have to say that all of the supervisor staff are just so helpful. Whenever we need masks, you know, and Kelvin went and got one of the Buddhist group to give us, was it 700-800 of the cloth masks that we are now able to deliver to Sandra's, all of the seniors in Richmond, working with our staff. And they're very thankful. They actually, a few called me and said now they have some cloth masks that they can use over and over. So really, thank you, Kelvin. You started that one. So next is Margaret here. Maggie, Maggie, yeah. Maggie is one of the first volunteers that when I come to Sunset, and Maggie was really helpful. She comes early, she helped the staff pack the meals, and then later I found out that Maggie actually works for Chinese Historical Society, and she writes beautiful, you know, publication for the Historical Society, and then she wrote about her experience delivering meals for the seniors. So I want to thank you, Maggie, and really all of the help and support that you gave us.
I also didn't realize I was going to be speaking today, so just something quick. I guess we had, the Chinese Historical Society had been asked to kind of share a volunteer experience that, 500 seniors were in need of meals, and as I was also helping out with the communications for CHSA, I realized, I do have the ability to help, that even though I'm working, that I can also go and volunteer my time, and there was people in the community that need help. And then for me, I'm actually not from San Francisco, I'm originally from South Dakota, so this has been a chance for me. I've only been here for 3 years, but to get to know about this community more. more. So even though I've been stuck more at home, I feel like I've learned more about San Francisco and the community that CHSA serves. So thank you for offering this opportunity. I'm glad that this is a chance for the community to bond together.
Before you all go out to deliver, I actually want to bring up Alex, Tiffany, and Maggie, really, and Stephen if they're here. They are the nutrition team. We call them really Superman and Superwoman. They haven't slept for days and days when they prepare to pivot to the home delivery meal. So Alex and his team want to just say thank you.
Hello everyone. So I have this is nutrition team, Maggie and Stephen. Hi everyone. So thank you so much for coming today. So I'll be representing for the seniors and self-help. Thank you so much for all of you helping all this time and helping our nutrition team to deliver 5,000 meals per day up until the end of June. 300,000 meals already. Thank you so much. And because you guys cannot do that much. Thank you. We appreciate your help. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I think that Norman has to rush off, but Shireen, can you walk with us? Because we have one senior waiting for a meal delivery, and that will complete our press conference today. All right, so Shireen, if you don't mind, you will represent President Lee, because he has to go to the zoo.
All right.
All right, thank you so much, Norman. And thank you so much, Supervisor. We're going to go out to deliver meals now, Sandra, Ian. So we'll deliver your gifts back to your office when we see you. And have fun in Oregon, Colin. All right, bye-bye.
Jenny. Hi.
Yeah, 我哋冚唪唥啲 volunteer 嘅。Thanks a lot. Thank you for you coming. Department of Aging. Thank you so much. Every day we receive a senior center and a volunteer, a lot of them helping. We are very appreciative. Otherwise, we don't know, even across the street, we